Next on AM 1480 WLEA, the Newsmaker Show. Here's Ryan O'Neill.
And we have a very interesting guest this morning. He's from Virginia. His name is Grett Glyer, and he runs a website called DonorC.com. I'm going to find out all about that today. Grett Glyer, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Brian. Happy to be here.
Well, Grett Glyer, DonorC.com, and that's donor, DonorSee.com. You have a new and innovative way of making donations to charity. Tell us about that.
I would be thrilled to. So usually when you give to charity, you go to a website and you find an about page and a home page and a contact page and a donate page. And you give on the donate page, you pick an amount, and then a few days later you'll get a thank you email. A few days after that, they'll send you another email asking you for more money. We do things completely differently than that. What we do is when you go to DonorC.com, you can pick out the exact person who you want to give your money to, the recipient of it. It's usually someone who's overseas and is in a very disadvantaged position. And then a few days after your donation, you'll get a personalized video update of exactly how your donation was used to help that person. So as an example, let's say there's a girl in India and she's deaf. You can donate hearing aids to her, and a few days later, you'll get a video of her hearing for the first time.
Yes, I saw there was a video or a picture of a person who only had one leg, and this was on DonorC.com. And then there was a video afterwards after someone made a donation so they could get a prosthetic leg, and it showed the person walking around for the first time, presumably with a prosthetic leg.
Yeah, we do a lot of prosthetics, and that's something that would be. I think right now, if you go to the front page, you might see an opportunity to do something like that.
Well, that's wonderful. So it says that on DonorC.com, they have the examples, and you can log in and sign up. What gave you the idea to do this, Grett?
Well, I lived in Malawi, Africa, for 3 years. So Malawi is a small country. A lot of people haven't heard of it. I hadn't heard of it myself until I moved over there. And it's a small country in southeastern Africa. So if you can think about where Madagascar is, Malawi is inland of Madagascar. I moved there. I lived there for 3 years, and I'm someone who I grew up going to private schools. I come from a background that made it very easy and comfortable for me to go to college, get a good job, all that stuff. And then I lived in what is usually ranked as the poorest country on the planet, Malawi. I lived there for 3 years, and so the difference in my life between private school and then living in Malawi, Africa, was the starkest contrast I've ever seen on the planet. It's like two different planets, private school and Malawi. And so when I was living over there, I was seeing the level of poverty that existed, and I was trying to find a way to do something about it. And I would make videos, and I would do blog posts, and then eventually I found out that these small-scale projects where people can donate their money and impact a person's real life, I found out that was the best way to communicate the level of poverty I was seeing over there. And so then I just scaled it up from there. So started Malawi and kind of grew from there, and we added more partners, and that's how it started.
He's got a new and interesting and innovative way to donate to charity. It's called DonorC.com. You don't make any money off this, Grett Glyer, is that correct?
Yeah, I personally have chosen not to take a salary from DonorC. I think a lot of people are kind of curious about what are the motivations behind the CEO. What's in it for him? Why is he doing it, or her, depending on the situation? And in my instance, I am fortunate to have other ways of making money, and so I thought for this organization, whenever you give your money, whenever you tell your friends about DonorC, and they're wondering how much the CEO makes, I make $0 a year. I don't have any benefits from DonorC. I don't have nothing like that. So there's no bonuses or anything like that. So I get $0 a year from the organization, and it's my full-time thing. And I have some stuff on the side where I can take care of myself, but As far as the organization itself goes, you don't have to worry about your donation going to my paycheck. It's not at all going to anything like that.
That's great. Talking to Grett Glyer of DonorC.com. Now, is this a charity site that works with other charities as well, or are you sending, do the donations just go to DonorC and DonorC takes care of the people in need?
So we do a little bit of both. It's mostly working with other partners, so other charities or other individuals. What we do is we have a vetting process for all of the people who want to post projects on our site. So we have a lengthy application process. So whenever someone wants to partner with us, they submit an application, and we have to turn down more than 90% of the people who want to apply with us because we do happen to get a lot of donation volume, and then because of that, there's a lot of charities that would like to work with us, and we're very, very particular about who we work with. We want people who are very trustworthy, who have a long history of success in what they do, and also who are good storytellers and are capable of talking about what they're seeing on the ground behind the camera. And so, after they apply, it's a several-month process, but if they're approved, then we partner with them, and they're the ones uploading the videos, and the donors are able to give. The donors are giving through these on-the-ground aid workers who are telling the stories of what they're seeing.
Now, one thing I noticed about your website is that people who have given to DonorC.com make comments and give ratings, with the stars. The stars are 1 to 5 star ratings. See a lot of 5-star ratings. One person commented, Kelsey, commented, "I love DonorC and everything it stands for. I love how you get updates on how your money is being used, and you can see the progress of the people you're helping. I cannot wait for DonorC to become a household name." And another 5-star commenter says, "I really love the DonorC app. It's the only place where you can see exactly where your money goes. You can see a lot of different projects, and you also stay updated about the progress and outcome." So it looks like you're getting some nice feedback there. Yeah,
the people who use our platform for their giving, they're very fanatical. And you have to really use it one time to really understand why it's so unique. Until you've used it, it's almost like too far out there for people to appreciate. But as soon as you use it and you get your video follow-up, a lot of times there's, like Brian, if you gave to a project, the person who you gave to, there's a good chance that they would say, "Hey, Brian, thank you for giving me a prosthetic leg," or "Hey, Brian, thank you for giving me these hearing aids." You get this very personalized update, and it's not until you experience that you truly realize how special this platform is. It's quite remarkable, but you have to use it to really appreciate it.
Can you tell us some of the success stories that you've had in terms of helping needy people out, many of them in foreign countries?
Yeah, I'll tell you the story. There was a girl in rural Africa, and she's about 7 years old, and she was going to go fetch water for her family. So there they don't have sinks. In this particular village they didn't have a sink, and so she took her bucket and she went across the river to go get some water from the pump for her family. And as she was coming back across the river, she's holding the water on her head, she was attacked by a crocodile. And there were 2 men on shore, so the 2 men jump into the water, they scare the crocodile away, and they bring her back on the shore. And this is a very serious situation, and in many other crocodile attack cases, there would be no chance of survival. Thankfully, we had one of our on-the-ground partners who was there just off of shore, and she was able to take a picture of the situation and raise $100 within 2 minutes, and then get the girl to the hospital, and then post her visual update of the girl getting better and getting treatment just a few hours after that. And so we're a very immediate on-the-ground platform, unlike anything you've ever seen.
When people give to charity, I suppose a lot of times they wonder, how much can I give? And if at the moment I can only give a little bit, will that help at all? How does that work? Do you have to have a certain amount to give to make it effective, or does any amount help? How's that work?
Yeah, so we use a special model where you can only give small amounts. We actually don't allow projects over $500. And the idea behind that is every time that you give on DonorSee, we want you to pick out a specific person, and you're going to give to that specific person. You're not giving to a big black hole. You're not giving to a big pot that will then be distributed later on. Your money is going directly to a person with a name, and because of that, your donations make a really large impact in that person's life. So every time you give, it doesn't matter what you give. You could give $2, and $2 might feel small to you, but for the person receiving it, the person living in a rural village in Africa or the person living in a slum in India, that is a huge amount of money. A lot of these people live on $2 a day. So for them to receive that type of money, it makes a big, big difference in their life.
So I'm looking at some of the success stories on DonorSee.com, your website, and it talks about a little baby whose father abandoned him, and the mother was too sick in order to produce breast milk for the baby, and the donor saved his life by providing formula milk, and the baby's now healthy. And you see the before and after pictures, and wow, you really feel for the little guy.
Yeah, so that is, I think, we have a lot of malnourished babies that we're able to save through the platform. The one that you're talking about, the example one, is baby Wlea. I'm very familiar with his story, and he gets brought up a lot. But yeah, we do a lot of work with malnourished babies, and the reason for that is when they're that young, when they're just a few months old, if they don't have proper nutrition, it will stunt their development, their brain development, for the rest of their life. And so that's one of those things that when you hear about the poverty cycle kind of being pushed along and people unable to escape the poverty cycle, that's one of those reasons. If a baby is not nourished well when they're really, really young, then their brain is stunted and their development is stunted, and that will set them up poorly for the rest of their life. So if we're able to get them formula milk during that really crucial time, that makes, like, again, small donation. Formula milk might cost like $200 to get it over there, but it makes a massive, massive impact in the life of that kid.
Now, I see a lot of these cases are out of the continent of Africa. And talk about the ability to get a couple of dozen mosquito nets. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so here's a statistic that people will find shocking. Well, I guess the first thing that you have to know is if you're not someone who has ever had to worry about malaria, that's just because you don't live in a certain part of the world. But there's about half of the world, about 3 billion people on the planet, are really worried about this disease called malaria, which comes from being bitten by mosquitoes. And so if you've never had to worry about that you're lucky because you just don't live in a certain part of the world. But for half of the world, it's a really big deal that unfortunately takes a lot of lives. And the people who mostly pass away from malaria are children under the ages of 5. So if you want to do something about that, one of the best things that you can do is provide mosquito nets. What mosquitoes are, especially the female mosquitoes that carry the malaria virus, they are nocturnal insects, and so they mostly come out at night and they bite you at night, and that's when the disease is transferred. And so if you just sleep under a net at night, that prevents the mosquitoes from getting to you. And there is a statistic where if you cover a village 70% in mosquito nets, the malaria rate in that village will drop by 90%. And so that's one of those things that we focus on a lot on DonorSee, because the more mosquito nets we provide, the lower the malaria rate and the more lives we can save.
Talking to Grett Glyer of DonorSee.com, and it's DONOR, donor, C is SEE. .com. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about some of the media coverage that Grett has had for doing this charitable work. Stay with us.
Andy Carbone, your host at JC's Cafe in Hornell, thanks everyone who attended the Easter buffet at the VFW. Andy's looking forward to seeing you again at his special JC's Mother's Day brunch, also at the Hornell VFW, just down the street. Why don't you call JC's Cafe today to place a reservation for the awesome and value-packed Mother's Day brunch? The number to reach Andy Carbone at JC's Cafe is 324-4428. Treat Mom to Brunch, hosted by the one and only Andy Carbone and JC's Cafe.
If you're like me, you take walking seriously, so you wear Go Walks from Skechers. They're the only walking shoes I know that have the 5 Ables. What does that mean? You want walking shoes that are comfortable, breathable, washable, adorable, and affordable. That's the 5 Ables, and Skechers Go Walks have it all. They've got air-cooled Go-Go Mat insoles for lasting comfort. They're made with washable, breathable materials. They're adorable, and they're wonderfully affordable. They're very able shoes. Get Skechers Go Walks at a Skechers store near you or wherever stylish shoes are sold.
There's nothing like meeting face-to-face, and there's nothing like Zoom to make that happen. Zoom lets you connect and do business across town or around the world. Zoom ties together all of your communication needs into one easy platform for video conferencing, phone calls, group chat, webinars, and your conference rooms. Connect easily from anywhere, your mobile phone, your laptop, or conference room. Zoom is how business gets done. Get your free account at Zoom.com today.
Checking in with meteorologist Rob Carolyn, who's calling it like this. It's going to be a pretty much sunny day all day.
Gee, we haven't had too many sunny days so far this spring. It has been a rather cloudy and cool pattern, and that'll come back. But at least this week we're going to squeeze in at least 2 days worth of sunshine. That's certainly a kind of a benefit over last week. Today we do turn mostly sunny. We're also going to be turning warmer. Temperatures are going to be close to 70 later today. Sunrise was at 5:58 this morning. It'll set tonight at 8:15. We have clear skies in the forecast for tonight to start. Clouds will move in overnight. Lows will be 45 to 50. Cold front's going to move through tomorrow, Brian. That means clouds and showers and cooler weather. We're 55 to 60. Showers end tomorrow night. We'll have partial clearing. Lows will be 35 to 40. Sunshine's back Wednesday. We're 55 to 60. And it looks like another round of showers will head our way on Thursday.
Our guest this morning is Grett Glyer, and he runs a website called DonorSea.com. We're reading an article here from USA Today from, I believe this is from 2016, and it was talking about Hurricane Matthew and all the charitable donations that you could make to different organizations. And they listed DonorSea. It says, this smartphone app and fundraising platform launched in September connects with people with pressing needs overseas. Users transfer cash to individual needs posted by the on-the-ground relief teams. People can follow aid workers and get real-time visual updates, says Grett Glyer. Glyer's team, it says, provided 300 relief kits last week, and the group will be making another trip to, I believe, areas in Africa coming up, and this was written 2016. You've also been had positive reviews from National Review, Huffington Post, and others, Grett Glyer.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to be. I think one of the themes that comes up a lot when the press talks about us is they constantly refer to us as the future of charity. And another common phrase is they say that we're the Uber for charity, just kind of because of our model where we connect people to people on the ground. But yeah, the future of charity comes up a lot. Just what we're constantly focused on is how can we be the most innovative, cost-effective way to get your money to real people in need in remote, impoverished parts of the world. And it's a solution that I've been working on since I was living in Malawi all those years ago, and it's a solution that my team is now working on feverishly to help donors and help people overseas get connected with one another.
Grett Glyer, does it ever happen, and I hope you don't take this as any kind of criticism, but do people ever approach you and say, you know, we have a sad case here in the States that needs help?
Yeah, and we have done some cases in the States, and it's not that we don't, it's not that we're not open to that.
Oh, sure.
It's really just a matter of who are our trusted partners and whether or not they're interested in working within our model. And our model is very unique. We do a lot of video content, and a lot of times there's certain regulations in the States and certain privacy concerns.
Yeah, there would be, wouldn't there?
Because of that, it can be kind of tough sometimes to partner with people who are in the States. But, you know, we've done it before, and we are open to it. It's just a matter of finding the right partner in the right situation.
Are there any states that have stricter laws on that kind of thing as far as the privacy rights go? It's pretty much at the federal level. There's the HIPAA regulations and other things like that are pretty universal. So there might be some negligible difference between states, but I think it's at the federal level. So yeah. I hear you there. Talking to a very interesting guest this morning. His name is Grett Glyer. If you Google search it, that's spelled GretGlyer. Runs a website called DonorC.com. It's been around is it been around for 3 years, Grett? Am I correct there? If the USA Today article's right.
3-year mark. Yeah, we're about to hit the 3-year mark.
Okay, that's terrific. And do you now, if someone was going to give to one of the causes on DonorC.com, do they use PayPal or credit card? How's that work?
Yeah, it would be through credit card, and it's all handled by a third-party website called Stripe, which is very similar to PayPal. And Stripe handles the transactions. They're a multi-billion-dollar credit card processing company, and they're really good at what they do, and we're grateful to be partnered with them so that they can take care of the complicated payment stuff, and we can focus on what we do best, which is providing people with disaster and poverty alleviation relief.
Grett Glyer, just about out of time. Your website, DonorC.com, and that's the word C, S-E-E, DonorC.com. Any other info we should be giving out to send people your way?
The only thing I'll say is you've got to try it, and if you want, for everyone who's listening to this, if you go check out the website right now, and it's your first time checking out the website, you should get a pop-up from one of our donors saying, hey, here's a $5 gift card. So one of our donors, they love DonorC, and they want you to try it for free. And so they want you to try it for free so bad that they're giving you $5 so you can take that $5 and donate it to someone in need and get a video update without having to spend a single dime yourself. Of course, we want you to donate to people in need. There's a lot of people on our platform that could really use your donation, but just give it a try, see how it feels, and that's the one thing I'll ask of your audience. So thanks so much for having me on, Brian.
Grett Glyer, please stay on the line. I want to thank you so much for joining us.
For sure.